So I can already tell that Richard's going to be the death of me. You guys got some great questions, and I think some questions worth answering. So if you've watched literally my first video, I talked about tips. So this is going to be a part two. All right. And Richard wanted to know, along with many other people, wanted to know, how do you install the I's and the T's and the P's and the Y's? How do you get those in there? Like, because it seems to be a challenge for a lot of people. Now, it rained here in North Carolina, so I want you to know I'm going to get a little wet for you guys. All right, so I have brought out all the letters. Oh, look at that. Okay, so I have the T. We're going to start with the P. All right, but this process that I'm going to show you right now, okay, it's like magic fairy dust. So you can only share it with like Sign Fairy channel subscribers, because I'm weird like that. All right, so we all know we have a P, right? How do you put this thing in the ground? How do you attach it? Now, if you're going to use the H stake, which is basically what I use unless I'm spelling out somebody's name, okay, you're in a conundrum, because how do you get it in the ground? It's going to flap in the wind, right? What are you going to do? All right. So if you don't have a starter kit from Victory Store, and you don't have these 24-inch, I call these medium stakes. My wife and I call these, this is the H stake, which is the tallest. I think it's 30 inches. Yeah, it's about 30 inches. And then we use this as a medium stake, and we use them to layer, and that'll be another video. But what I want you to do, okay, just like in the other video, you have your H stake. How are you going to get this into the ground so it doesn't flap everywhere? Here we go. You ready? So you're going to take your P. You're installing at night. All right, and you're going to use the farthest flute, that's what they're called, in your P. All right, so you put it in here, just like, now I leave it kind of like that. Here's the why. I want you to take your 24-inch stake. If you don't have these, go to Victory Store and buy them. All right, I think they're like 59 cents for two. Like, buy $50 worth, because you'll go through these and get crazy. Mine's already bent. All right. Now, as the H stake, you have two areas, okay? And this is where the magic happens. This is incredible. I figured this out all on my own. I'm sharing proprietary information with you. All right. So what I want you to do is, as you have your letter P on your stake, I want you to take your 24-inch stake and I want you to put it through. And then I want you to put it down. Okay? You guys see how that is? All right. Now, with this 24-inch stake on the opposite side of this, all right, what I want you to do is I want you to put it in like this, and then I want you to connect it to the farthest part of the P. All right. Remember we talked about the dog legs, how important they are? If I turn this dog leg, all right, you see how it gets wider, or it opens up, it relieves a little bit of tension. If this was perfectly straight, you're going to want the dog leg pushed out, all right? And it's going to be pushing against the back of this and creating tension, all right? The tension is what you want. Not in your marriage, just in your P stake, okay? So I'm not going to say anything, but I'm just going to show you, and I want you to leave the P high enough, okay? Because if you look at this, this is going to go into the ground first. If you have your 24-inch stake closer to the ground, all right, when you push it in and it goes more than 2 inches, this whole thing is going to buckle. You don't want that. So keep it up high, all right? And make sure that it stays on the other side. You see how that is? I'm going to step back. Now, I've noticed that if I step back too far, you can't hear me, so I'm not going to say anything, okay? But check this out. I'm going to put it in farther enough so that you can see the whole deal. here we go. We're going to install the P. You're going to watch it. I might even do this in slow-mo just for the effect. Okay. All right. Okay. So what you're doing with that 24-inch stake is that you're raising it high enough on the H stake that when you push it into the ground, because the H stake is now in the ground, you're sending it like a spike into the ground. That won't move. Okay, it just won't. I'll do this a couple more times with other letters so that you see. I can only do it with the Y because I forgot a large stake. But you see this? I have all of these set up in my house like this, upside down. All right, let's do the Y. You're installing, it's late at night. You're concerned that people are going to hear you. So you see the difference? That 24-inch stake will save you. Okay, so that's the tip for today. Richard, are you good with this, man? You gonna be all right now? I do want to show you one other thing. It's going to give you insight into how wonderful it is to be a parent. Watch. And then when I pull these up, sometimes you'll pull out the 24-inch stake. But here's some bonus footage. Does anybody else have kids? I make my kids do tasks because they think they're entitled to everything. Now, I told my middle son to mow the lawn the other day. Check this out. You ready? Check this out. You see this? All right, is everybody with me here? This is my neighbor's yard. This is our yard. That's where we put the trash. This is my middle son. Look at this. How does that happen? How do you miss that? This is millennial type work, okay? So if you're starting this business and you have a family, listen, put these kids to work. they think money grows on a money tree. Like this is a money tree. You know what I mean? It just comes out of your ATM machine. Makes me bananas. All right, guys. Richard, before I forget, your question about the flutes. So this is a 4x4. Now, do you see these straight lines here? These are the flutes. Now, if I wanted to make Q, all right? I trace it out right here, all right? And then I cut it out. If you trace it out like this, where are you gonna put your stakes? On the side? You want your letter to look like that when you're in the yard? So you have to do everything horizontal, straight, up and down. Okay? That should answer your question. Get after it today, gang.